Welcome to Flash Tutorial Request 21, Grids, Rulers, and Guides. I have a new FLA opened. Going to make the stage 75%. And let's start off with the grids. So under View, come down here to Grids, Show Grid. There's the grid. And notice that if I change the size of my stage, the grids change correspondingly. So back to 75%. Back up to View, and let's see what we can change on this grid. Edit the grid. Well, naturally we can change the color, and this will be dependent on what your stage color is. We can choose to show the grid or not, and we have something called Snap to Grid, and we have the pixel sizes. So let's make this grid 40 pixels, and notice that just one axis changed, and 40, so both axes change. Now this Snap to Grid, let's select that and say OK. I'm coming down here. I have no stroke. Click there for no stroke, and I have a fill of a purplish color, and I'm going to make a rectangle. Now watch as I make it. See that circle? That circle says I'm going to try to snap to one of them guidelines if you'll let me. That's one thing it does. Okay, let's delete that. Let's make another one and not snap for me. But let's take that and move it. So if I click on this corner and drag it up, see how it wants to snap to where I clicked it. If I click right in the corner and drag it, it wants to snap to the corner. If I click on the center and drag it, it wants to snap to the center. So you have all those options. Wherever you snap it and click on it with the arrow, that's where it wants to snap on one of those grids. Let's add a ruler to this. So up View, Ruler. And we have a ruler. We have this x-axis, and notice it starts at 0. At 0. And we have the y-axis, notice, so that is 0x, 0y. Now, the grid is good if you've got a lot of things you want to line up. But if you're just doing a few things to line up, take the grid off. So let's go back and get rid of that grid. We won't show it anymore. And instead, let's use guides. Show guides, okay. If I click on it and drag it down, there's a guide. Again, I can go View, Guides, and it has options. I can show them or not show them. I can snap to them. I can lock them. So let's, for now, let's just leave this and move a couple guides around. I want you to watch over here on this ruler. When I get onto the guideline, I get that little triangle thing, so I can pull it down. And when I can get on one of those lines there, I'm right on the 200 line. That line will disappear to let me know I'm right on that line. I'll go down here, come up a bit, right there. It's not working very well. It's being temperamental, doesn't want to get on there. So let's go back to View, Edit Guides, make it snap to the grid from a distance. Okay, see if that helps. There, I'm right on. If I looked over here, I'm right on that 100, and it stays there. And notice that the grids, these guidelines, are on top of the object. So now let's say you have your guide set up and you have a bunch of lines, and you don't want those lines to, you don't want to be moving your guidelines by mistake. Because let's say on this layer here you had this line, an actual line. That's a visible line. There it is, see it goes. And let's say I'm trying to move things around, and if I inadvertently grab this line, I could move it. See that? I wouldn't want to do that. So you can go into View, guides, and you can lock your guides. So now you can't move them. I can still move this regular line, but I can't move my guides. But I can add guides. So I click here, drag over, I can add a guide, but as soon as I leave it go, it's locked. I can add a guide. As soon as I move it, it's locked. Now, when you're finished with all this and you save this FLA, these settings will come with it. So for example, let's save it. Save as, I'm just going to leave it as Untitled 1. Save. Now I'm going to close it. It's gone. I'm going to open it under Recent, Untitled 1, and it comes back with all those grids on it. But if I opened up a new FLA, that doesn't have them on it anymore. So I think I covered pretty much. Oh no, one more thing. Let's go back to that one. On the ruler, Flash gives you the option of working in inches or in pixels. So if you open your properties panel, this little wrench here, it's for the whole entire document. So if I click this wrench, I can go from pixels to inches. But now see, this is in inches. So let's go back to centimeters. Or excuse me, pixels. You could do centimeters, but pixels is the preference for programming for me. I hope you learned something from this short tutorial, and I hope you use what you learned.